Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us today.
It's great to be here.
Today we're going to be looking at Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success,
Yeah.
an excerpt focusing on those. And, you know, I I think we often hear so much about like hustling and grinding your way to success.
Yeah.
But you know what if there's more to it than that?
Right.
What if there are universal principles we can sort of tap into that lead to abundance?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't just mean like money in the bank. I'm talking about abundance in all areas of life.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we were hoping to unpack today.
Yeah, what's intriguing about Chopra's approach is it's not just about like material success or wealth.
Right.
It's like this holistic well-being,
Right.
including inner peace, fulfilling relationships and even spiritual growth.
Yeah, this first law, this pure potentiality is something I've been like kind of grappling with lately.
Oh, yeah.
It's this idea that we're not just defined by our limitations,
Yeah.
but that we are actually connected to this boundless source of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, have you ever felt like capable of so much more, but something's holding you back?
It's a common feeling.
Yeah.
And Chopra suggests that we all come from this field of pure consciousness,
Okay.
which he describes as like the source of everything.
Okay.
It's like an unlimited reservoir
Wow.
of creativity and potential that we can all tap into if we know how.
So how do we tap into it?
Well,
Because I think we all, have those moments where we feel stuck or limited.
the excerpt suggests things like meditation, spending time in nature, and even just practicing non-judgment.
Mhm.
These all help quiet the mental noise and allow us to connect with that deeper self.
It's like hitting the reset button on our perception
Yeah.
and allowing us to kind of see ourselves beyond these labels and limitations we put on ourselves.
Exactly. When
True,
we
yeah.
recognize that inherent potential within,
Yeah.
it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Okay, so law number 2, giving and receiving.
Okay.
I'm picturing a flowing river here,
Mm-hmm.
The energy needs to circulate to stay healthy.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
This law really emphasizes that to attract abundance, we need to keep energy in circulation.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be material things.
Right.
It can be kindness, it can be appreciation, a genuine smile.
Yeah.
All of these contribute to that flow.
This is where it gets really interesting for me.
Okay.
This idea that generosity can actually boomerang back to us as abundance
Mm-hmm.
in like unexpected ways.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fascinating to me is how subtle this can be.
Right.
It's not always like an immediate like tit for tat kind of thing.
Right.
Have you found that to be true in your own life?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
often when we shift our focus from like, what can I get to
Yeah.
what can I give,
Yeah.
that we create this positive ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it does often come back in surprising forms. It's
Right.
almost like the universe has its own way of balancing things out.
Yeah. Okay. Law number 3 is karma, which, a lot of people know is what goes around comes around.
Right.
But I want to kind of frame this in a positive light,
Yeah.
not just as some cosmic punishment system.
Right. It's not about punishment. It's about understanding that our choices have consequences.
Right.
And those consequences shape not only our own experiences,
Mhm.
but also impact those around us.
The excerpt asks us to consider, what are the consequences of this choice?
Yeah.
And will this choice bring happiness and fulfillment to me and those affected by it?
Mm-hmm.
These are powerful questions to consider
Absolutely.
before we take any action.
Yeah, when we start to think about the ripple effects of our actions and ensure those actions are aligned with kindness, integrity, and awareness,
Yeah.
we naturally attract more positive experiences.
Right.
You're essentially cultivating good karma, both for yourself and for others.
Yeah. Okay, this next law, this law of least effort, sounds almost too good to be true.
Right.
The excerpt paints this image of nature effortlessly growing, flowing, and blooming. And I love how this challenges this idea that you have to hustle harder.
Yeah.
What if success isn't about brute force, but about aligning with a natural flow?
Right.
Have you ever experienced that in your own life?
Oh, yeah.
Where things just seem to fall into place without a struggle?
I think we've all had those moments where we're in the flow
Yeah.
and everything just seems to click.
Yeah.
And this law suggests that we can actually tap into that effortless flow more consistently.
Okay.
It says it's about accepting the present moment,
Hmm.
taking responsibility for our circumstances without blaming others,
Okay.
and letting go of the need to always be right or in control.
So it's about surrender.
It is.
But it's not about being passive.
Right.
It's about surrendering to a greater intelligence, a natural flow of energy that guides us toward our goals.
Precisely. The excerpt calls these 3 key components: acceptance, responsibility, and defenselessness.
Okay.
And when we cultivate these qualities, we start to align ourselves with this effortless flow, allowing success to unfold more naturally.
All right, so moving on to law number 5, the law of intention and desire.
Okay.
This one really speaks to the power of our thoughts, doesn't it?
It does.
Like our thoughts send out this energy into the universe,
hmm
shaping the reality we experience.
That's exactly what it highlights. This
Yes.
incredible power of intention
Yeah.
uses this beautiful metaphor of our thoughts being like seeds that we plant in the universe.
Okay.
And what we focus on, what we believe in, starts to take root and grow in our reality.
But it's not just about wishful thinking, is it?
Right.
There's a balance between setting clear intentions and then detaching from the specific outcomes.
You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
We can set those powerful intentions, plant those seeds,
Yeah.
but then we need to trust that the universe will work its magic in its own way and its own time.
The excerpt actually suggests writing down our goals daily to focus that energy.
Yeah.
It's like a daily reminder to ourselves of what we're aiming for,
Yeah.
keeping those intentions at the forefront of our minds.
It's a powerful practice, and it helps to clarify our intentions and focus our energy on what we truly desire.
Okay.
By consistently focusing on our goals, we're sending a clear signal to the universe about what we want to manifest in our lives.
Okay, so law number 6, detachment.
All right.
This one can be a little tricky.
Yeah.
Does this mean we should just give up on our dreams?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's not about giving up. It's about surrendering control.
Okay.
Detachment is about letting go of that rigid attachment to specific outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
It's about trusting the process, being open to possibilities, and not letting fear or anxiety control the journey.
You know, the butterfly analogy the excerpt uses really hit home for me.
Oh, yeah.
If you hold a butterfly too tightly, it struggles and suffers.
Right.
But when you let it rest lightly on your hand, it stays.
Mm-hmm.
Such a powerful reminder that sometimes our tight grip on our desires can actually push them further away.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. It beautifully illustrates the concept of detachment.
Yeah.
It's not about apathy or indifference.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
about surrendering control and allowing things to unfold naturally.
This reminds me of something you said earlier about shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When we hold on too tightly, we're coming from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Like a fear that we won't get what we want.
Right.
But when we detach,
Yeah.
we open ourselves up to a wider range of possibilities, trusting that the universe will provide.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Detachment allows us to move from a place of fear to a place of trust.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that the universe has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it doesn't unfold exactly as we envision,
Yeah.
it's ultimately guiding us towards our highest good.
Okay, so we've covered 6 of the 7 laws so far.
We have.
Before we move on to that final law in the next part,
Okay.
is there anything else you want to highlight about these first 6?
I think it's important to remember that these laws are all interconnected.
They build upon each other. They're not meant to be followed in isolation,
Yeah.
but rather they create this synergistic effect when we embrace them as a whole.
It's like a recipe for success,
It is.
like a holistic approach that addresses all aspects of our being.
Exactly. It's about aligning ourselves with these universal principles to create a life that's not only successful in the traditional sense,
Right.
but also deeply fulfilling and meaningful.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful so far.
Yeah.
We'll be back in part 2 to explore the 7th and final law, the law of Dharma,
Okay.
which focuses on our unique purpose in life. So stay tuned. We've got more to uncover. Welcome back to our deep dive into Deepak Chopra's 7 spiritual laws of success.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
We've explored some pretty profound concepts, I think, already.
We have.
From, tapping into our pure potential
Right.
to the power of giving and receiving,
Mm-hmm.
and how letting go of that tight grip on outcomes
Yeah.
can actually lead to a more effortless flow in life. So now we're going to explore this 7th and final law,
Okay.
the law of Dharma.
Okay.
Now, this one feels especially close to my heart
Oh, yeah.
because it's all about uncovering and living your unique purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the culmination of all the other laws, isn't it?
It is. The excerpt really emphasizes this beautiful idea that each of us is born with these unique gifts
Yeah.
and passions that are meant to be shared with the world.
Right.
And when we align with that, with our true selves, that's where we find true fulfillment
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately success.
I love how the excerpt frames this as a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
It asks these really thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
Like, what do you love doing?
Right.
How can you serve humanity with your gifts?
Mm-hmm.
And what brings you deep fulfillment?
Yeah.
These aren't just like surface level questions, you know?
Yeah.
They really make you go inward and search for answers.
They do. It's like peeling back the layers of
Yeah.
all those societal expectations and conditioning
Right.
to uncover what truly lights us up inside.
Have you ever worked with someone who's been, trying to discover their dharma?
Many times.
Yeah. What are some of the common obstacles that people face on this journey?
Fear is a big one.
Okay.
Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of the unknown.
Right.
I've seen so many people who have these incredible passions,
Yeah.
but hesitate to pursue them because they're afraid of what others will think,
Yeah.
or they doubt their ability to succeed.
It's almost like we've been conditioned to play it safe,
It's true.
Stick to the well-trodden paths instead of venturing out to create our own.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that success has to look a certain way.
Right?
But this law suggests that true success lies in those unconventional paths, in those areas where we feel most alive and authentic.
Because when we're aligned with our dharma, we're tapping into a source of energy and inspiration that's far greater than ourselves.
Absolutely.
We're not just working.
Right.
We're expressing our essence.
That's the key. When we're in alignment with our Dharma, work becomes a form of play,
Yeah.
a joyful expression of who we are.
It's no longer about chasing those external rewards.
Right.
It's about the intrinsic fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with our truth.
Exactly.
Makes me think that quote, find something you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds cliche,
It does.
but there's so much truth to it.
Absolutely. When we're aligned with our Dharma, work doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It feels like an extension of who we are, a way to share our gifts and make a positive impact on the world.
So for someone listening who feels that spark,
Yeah.
that desire to uncover their dharma, but they're not sure where to begin,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them?
Start by paying attention to yourself.
Okay.
Notice what brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
What activities do you lose yourself in?
Right.
What could you talk about for hours on end?
Yeah.
These are all clues. They're like breadcrumbs leading you towards your Dharma.
Yeah. It's about quieting that mental chatter
Yes.
and tuning into that inner voice.
that intuition.
That intuition that's always guiding us, even when we're not aware of it.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Try new things. Step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Explore different paths.
Mm-hmm.
It's often through exploration and experience that we stumble upon our true calling.
The excerpt also talks about the importance of service.
Yes.
Using our unique gifts to make a positive impact on the world.
That's an important piece of this puzzle. Dharma isn't just about personal fulfillment.
Right.
It's about recognizing how our unique talents and passions can be used to contribute to something larger than ourselves.
That's that Gandhi quote. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
That's a powerful reminder that our Dharma is often intertwined with our ability to make a difference in the world around us. And when we focus on how we can serve others, our own purpose often becomes clearer.
Now, we've spent quite a bit of time on this seventh law. How do you see the law of Dharma connecting to the overall concept of success, as described in these 7 spiritual laws?
It's like the final piece that brings everything together. We tap into our pure potentiality. We embrace giving and receiving.
Yeah.
We make choices aligned with karma
Right.
and surrender to the effortless flow of life.
Mm-hmm.
We set intentions, we practice detachment, and then finally we align with our Dharma, our
Right.
unique purpose.
It's like all these different threads weaving together to create this tapestry of holistic success.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. And when all these elements are in harmony, that's when we experience true abundance, not just in material wealth, but in all areas of life.
Yeah.
Love, joy, purpose, and spiritual growth. It all comes full circle.
So before we move on to part 3, where we'll synthesize all 7 of these laws and how they work together,
Okay.
do you have any final thoughts or insights about the law of Dharma that you want to share?
I think it's important to remember that discovering your Dharma is a journey, not a destination.
Wow.
It's an ongoing process of exploration and growth.
Right.
There might be twists and turns along the way,
Yeah.
but the key is to trust the process and keep moving forward.
And I love how you emphasized earlier that we don't have to have it all figured out right away.
Right.
We can start by taking small steps,
Yes,
paying attention to what brings us joy, and being open to new experiences.
exactly. It's about allowing ourselves to evolve, to learn and grow as we discover what truly sets our souls on fire.
Mm,
And when we find that when we align with our dharma, success becomes inevitable.
that's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
We'll be back in part 3 to explore how these 7 laws work together to create a life that's truly successful and fulfilling. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're in the final part of our deep dive on Deepak Chopra's 7 spiritual laws of success.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. And we, in the first 2 parts, we really got into the details of each law individually. But now I kind of want to step back
Yeah.
and look at the big picture. How do all these laws fit together? It's like we've been piecing together this puzzle.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is how these laws aren't just like isolated principles.
Right.
They really build upon each other,
Yeah.
creating this framework for living a life of true abundance and success.
So if we think back to that law of pure potentiality, it's like acknowledging that we have this incredible potential within us.
Yeah.
It's the foundation,
Right.
the starting point.
Yeah.
We're not limited by our past, by our circumstances, or even our own self-doubt.
Exactly. It's recognizing that we are connected to this limitless source of creativity and possibility.
Yeah.
And once we tap into that, we can start to shape our reality in a more conscious way.
And then comes that law of giving and receiving.
Yes.
And, this reminds me that we can't just hoard all that potential,
Right.
We have to keep the energy flowing.
It's about creating that positive exchange of energy,
Yeah.
whether it's through kindness, appreciation, or even just, a willingness to share our gifts with the world.
Yeah.
And the more we give, the more we open ourselves up to receive.
Of course, we can't forget about karma.
Right.
That age-old principle of cause and effect.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
Exactly.
Our choices have consequences.
Yeah.
And those consequences ripple outward, impacting not only ourselves, but also, those around us.
So it's a call to conscious action.
It is.
Making choices that are aligned with our highest values, knowing that those choices will ultimately create the reality we experience.
Absolutely.
Now, the law of least effort, this is where things start to get really interesting for me.
Okay.
Because it's like we're shifting gears from striving and forcing
Yeah.
to a more effortless flow.
Right. It's not about being passive. It's
Yeah.
about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life,
Yeah.
surrendering to a higher intelligence that's always guiding us towards our highest good.
And then we have that law of intention and desire.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's like we're actively stepping into our power as creators.
Right.
We're setting clear intentions
Yeah.
and focusing our energy
Yeah.
on what we want to manifest.
We're harnessing the power of our thoughts and beliefs, recognizing that our inner world shapes our outer reality.
But then the key to this is detachment, right?
Yes, we set those intentions,
Yeah.
but we don't cling to them.
Right.
We trust that the universe will deliver in its own way and its own time.
And finally, we arise at the law of Dharma.
The culmination of all the other laws.
Right.
This is where we align our actions with our unique purpose, using our gifts to serve others and make a positive impact on the world.
And when we're living in alignment with our Dharma,
Yeah,
it's like everything else falls into place.
it does.
Success, abundance, fulfillment become natural byproducts of living in alignment with our truest selves.
It all comes full circle.
So, we've explored all these laws.
Mm-hmm.
What does it all really mean?
Right.
What are some practical takeaways from this?
I think the most important takeaway is to remember that success isn't just about external achievements.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a state of inner alignment and well-being.
Yeah.
It's about living in harmony with these universal principles.
It's like we're shifting our focus from chasing success to embodying it.
Exactly. It's an inside-out approach.
Yeah.
And that starts with awareness. Become mindful of your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions.
Yeah.
Pay attention to where you're experiencing resistance or struggle.
Okay.
These are often signs that you're out of alignment.
And then it's about taking small, consistent steps to shift that energy.
Yes. Start incorporating practices like meditation, gratitude, and conscious decision-making into your life.
Experiment with different approaches. See what resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of these laws is that they can be adapted to anyone's unique journey.
Absolutely.
And remember, this is a process, not a destination.
It is.
There will be ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And trust the journey.
That's such an important reminder.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what final thought would you leave our listeners with?
I would say remember that you have the power to create a life that's not only successful, but also deeply meaningful and fulfilling.
Yeah.
These 7 laws are your guide your roadmap to unlocking your full potential.
I love that embrace these laws. Experiment with them and see how they can transform your life from the inside out. A
Absolutely.
huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through these profound principles.
My pleasure.
And to you, our listener, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring, and we'll see you next time.